No.
Okay.
Curious.
Okay, yeah. My word was more like hopeful. Like, you can't get worse, right?
Let's hope not.
I know.
Okay, so yes, cliche, new year, new you. And I know we're probably like, oh, well, this is not going to be about New Year's resolutions. But it's not. Surprise, surprise. It's going to be with this twist of new year, new relationships. So in case you're confused on what that's going to look like, I have questions for you, of course. I'm going to be asking lots of questions. Have any of you started a new school in the past 3 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Yep.
College.
College.
Yep.
College. Okay. Have any of you started a new job in the last year?
Yep.
Yes, 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Have any of you moved in the past 3 to 5 years?
Yeah.
Yep, this weekend.
All right. Great. So we're on a roll. Has anyone started dating or not dating anyone new recently?
In the 3 to 5
3
years?
to 5 years.
Anything change in dating relationships, I guess is the question.
No.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when we think about these, they're kind of like bigger, like milestones. You know, I'm asking you about school, I'm asking you about moving, I'm asking you about relationships, I'm asking you about jobs. How have these changes affected your relationships? In terms of like relationships with friends, maybe not so much with family, but when you think about your friendships, even with like coworkers, these acquaintances, have these moments in your life changed the relationships in your life?
Yes, no, maybe so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And there's probably a lot, and I
Yeah.
think for each of you, I could probably talk for 2 hours each. So instead of doing it that way, I just kind of want to talk about it today and give you guys an activity, because
I do think that, like in my experience, as we grow older, we kind of like tend to outgrow people. You know, if like some people go away to college, some people stay at home, some people move out, some people travel. You know, like so all these experiences, none of them are better or worse, but it's like outgrowing people, and it doesn't have to be a bad thing. You know, and so this new year, new you in terms of new relationships is taking time to just examine our relationships and see where we're at and see which ones change, which ones do we want to like block, delete, mute into the new year, do we need to add some new ones. So we're going to do an activity. I'll show you my artwork. I'm going to get creative. This is a little sampling of what we're going to be doing. By sample, I'm strongly stressing sample. I'm going to give you guys instructions because you're going to interpret it however you want to interpret it. But so purposes of the explanation. So I gave, you're going to have a circle. The one thing that you probably want to stay consistent is finding yourself. So myself is kind of in the middle. Then you can use circles, you can use squares, whatever floats your boat, can represent relationships in your life. The closer the relationships are in your life, the closer they can be to you, and then you can kind of have the like acquaintances are going to be further away from you. For me, I chose to like have my inner circle. Like some of the people are family members, you know. So again, if that applies to you, you can do it that way. This is your own. We call it the sociogram if you want to get fancy, but I'm not trying to be like get to psych sessions with us. But this is just a tool that I feel like helps us organize who's in our life, why they're in our life, do we still want them in our life, and then we'll kind of go from there. So, so you make your circles with you, and you could choose to, after I did this, I was like, I probably could have grouped some people together, like friends that I work with could probably be in one thing, friends that I go to the gym with could be, so you can make your categories, whatever makes sense for each of you. What other points did I want to make? I made like a key. So you're going to create your own key. So this, I did a heart for like people with similar interests. I did like a wavy line for work columns.
I was wondering what that was.
Yeah.
I used that.
No rhyme or reason, and I'm not an artist. I did an asterisk for people who share your
help yourself to paper, whatever paper moves you. We have markers.
I know it's gonna.
Paint, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, favorite.
And we will give you some time to organize your stuff, your thoughts. How did we, what was your strategy for like just organizing? You don't need to break down the details of who's who, but you know, I gave us some freedom to like make it make sense in our head. So did you use a similar strategy to mine or do it differently?
For me, I did it similar. Like the closer they were, like they're really close to me, and then the farther away is kind of like it's a work in progress, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Similar strategies or organization, I should say.
Yeah, I did like the circles closer to me, and like that means like we're close, and once this it's like working on it, what do you want to work on it type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I did the names that have the most space are closer to me. The ones with the smallest are the ones that are least closest to me.
Okay,
Yeah.
good visual. Okay. What? Okay, so now that we know, so you guys have your organization in check and know what you're doing. Is there any categories that maybe like aren't obvious? You know, I think I gave examples of like family, friends, best friends, coworkers. Did anybody come up with something extra?
I did social media because like we're friends on these platforms, but not in person. So I did like a little bubble for that.
Interesting. Okay. And then, are you childhood friends?
Yeah, I have childhood friends too.
Okay. Did you add any?
Well, like most of my childhood friends are still like my close friends, so like all of those people are like
Okay.
my close friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The people, you guys have some dotted lines, which was like challenges in the relationship.
Yeah.
Does anybody want to share a little bit about the challenges?
I can go. Okay, so the ones with dotted lines, we like had like so it's kind of like when you go to school together and then you graduate. That's where kind of like our like relationship like broke apart, or we talk every now and then, but it's not like the same how it was when we were in high school where we saw each other every day, we would say hi, so it's just like work in progress.
So the relationship kind of changed over the years,
Yeah.
like just growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Growing apart.
Yeah, yeah. Outgrowing each other.
Yeah.
For different experiences. Yeah. Anything to add? You have lots of broken lines. What is going on?
So I have like 3 different types of lines, I guess.
Okay.
So yeah, 3 different types of broken lines. So this one, so I recently just went through a breakup. So like this is a work in progress because I'm still trying to figure out like how to let go, I guess. Cause yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this one, the lines are straight, but they're still dotted because these are friends that I'm trying to reconnect with right now.
Yeah.
And then my family has like a weird kind of zigzag line because it's like I want to work on it, but it's kind of hard. So it's like, I need to find the path.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. And no, you don't have any broken relationships. They're all
No.
solid.
Yeah. I feel like like if you made me do this like a little while ago, I would have broken lines. But I feel like now I don't.
Because you mended the broken lines or you cut
Yeah.
ties?
Cut ties.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad you kind of bring that up because I want to, like, I guess examples for both of you with the broken lines. Are these relationships we want to mend? Are they relationships we're holding on to because we feel obligated? Is it a people-pleasing thing? Is it what's the challenge with or which direction do we want to go with the broken lines? lines?
I feel like family is definitely obligation sometimes because it's like we're family, so you don't choose family, you know? So it's like if I'm gonna see them, you know, all the time, then I do want to have at least a good relationship since it's not currently there. But the other ones, I think like friends is choice. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, I have a distant family, like a dotted line, and like I didn't know them, so that's kind of my part of finding myself, like who is my family. So I do want to like build like she said, like a connection with them because I'm gonna be seeing them often. Childhood friends, I feel like there's kind of an obligation because like we grew up together, they're like family, but I do want to like fix and like better our relationships. And then for like social media, I feel like that one's like people pleaser type of thing. Like they react to my stuff, I'll react to their stuff, but it's like I want to work on that relationship.
Yeah, I know that one I'm curious about, like, because like you feel like you're friends, but you've never met in real life.
No, we were friends.
Oh.
And then we just like graduated. and
Okay,
just,
okay,
distant.
okay.
So I want to reconnect instead of
Okay.
just like reacting to stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and it is challenging. Like, and when I did my example, I spent this afternoon and it was like, first I was like, I have no friends. But then it was like, then I was kind of like thinking about though, if I did it, like kind of what Noe said, like a little bit ago, would it look different? And it would. And I mean, granted, I'm a lot older than you all, and so like, I do feel like the road narrowed a little bit in terms of friendship and what I would tolerate. But I guess my lesson from learning this was, like to cultivate the friendship, it takes work, and it has to come from both parties, you know. And so if we look at these broken lines, are you trying to mend it, or both of you trying to mend it? And you know, when do we decide to call it quits? I guess it's probably the bigger questions. So I don't know. Do you have any observations that from like doing this activity? Did you have an aha moment?
Yeah, we just said I feel like there's definitely one on my chart where I'm like, I feel like I'm the only one doing the work, and the other one is like both of us are doing the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know, and I think it's hard because what if you want to do the work and they don't? And like, or if you keep texting somebody and they're not answering, or they're giving, like, do you stop?
I stop.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna keep texting you, but
Yeah.
Well, I feel like for me, the way I feel about that one is my family. So it's like, I mean, you can cut family off, but then like I'm just gonna be with myself. So.
Yeah.
Like,
I know. Yeah. Like family, like there's so much pressure because it's like everyone's gonna argue. It's family, yeah, you know. But like,
yeah, there's so many excuses.
Yeah.
That, yeah.
yeah. And like for me, I think like I try to be like objective and look at the relationship for the like would I tolerate this from somebody else? You know, and it's like no. So
No.
why am I tolerating this from people that are supposed to love me the most, kind of thing, if we want to argue that. So like not saying that go and tell hey family, Michelle said I don't have to talk to you anymore, so F you all. Like no, that's not what I'm saying. It's just like kind of being aware of what are the behaviors, what is the relationship, is it kind of, you know, learning to accept each other. You know, there's different ways to make it amicable, but maybe they're not ever going to be close to you, you know? And then the people that you already do have closer, you know, can you cultivate them stronger so they are like family, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know, so this like, I feel like this process, like for me, it was like kind of emotional. It was kind of like definitely very introspective. It made me like really think like what I value in friendships and what I'm looking for in friendships and how friendships are gonna work, and like, am I being too selfish? You know, like am I the problem in some of these things? And so I do think it comes back to self-worth. You know, do we like ourselves? Am I worth more than this? Yeah.
finding yourself.
Yeah. And
That's
then,
what I noticed.
yeah. And then, but yeah, so I'm not gonna go off another tangent. Yeah, self-worth and communicating, you know, and this again is having those hard conversations like, hey, we're distant. Like, do you want to be distant, you know, or do you just let them float away? Like, are you both being distant? And being okay with it, because I think that's the self-worth piece where if somebody's distant from me, I automatically think like, what did I do? They don't like me anymore. And it goes where it's like, maybe we did nothing and our values just changed, or we just went on different paths, or we just have different interests, or, you know, those kind of things. So, what is, knowing what we know now, exploring this a little bit, examining some of these friendships, what do we want to do about it? There's 3 of you. We'd like to challenge our audience. How are you going to challenge yourself that we could pitch a way to challenge the audience in your own personal relationships?
Okay, for me, definitely I know there's like a person on this chart where I can be open and just be straight up and be like, hey, I'm feeling we're a little distant, just being open and talking. And the other one is just like, okay, it's time to call it quits, but like, how do I tell them?
Okay, yeah.
So I just have to really be open to listening to what they have to say.
Yeah. So you want to end it with that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I want to end it, but I don't want to react. There's so many
Yeah.
things, so I'm just gonna try to listen, which is the very hard part for me. I like to talk and I like to like react, but I'm just like, okay, no, I have to stop.
And when our mindset's already like there, if it's like, oh, I don't want to be friends with this, and this, you know, we have like all that evidence, and then we create more of the story that's not even there. So that's a good point. So going in, being open, and addressing the circumstances at actual face value instead of the creating a story. Okay, that's a good challenge. Fun.
Whichever one.
Oh wait, we hear you.
Whichever one. Yeah.
Well, okay. So mine is kind of like not on my paper, but I thought about it. So I feel like a lot of my circles are people from the past, or at least people that I had some type of connection with, like work. Like, oh, it's because we worked together, so we became friends, you know? And I think I need to allow another line to just be open to meeting people.
Oh, I like it.
Because I feel like all the people that I know, it's because of something. It's not just, oh, I want to make a new friend. It's like, oh, well, we went to school with each other. Oh, we had work with each other. So like, just try and make new friends. Because that's really hard for me. So I think for the new year, I think that would be one of my goals.
Yeah, I think that should be all of our goals. I mean, I was writing mine. I'm like, okay, I have 4 friends.
Yeah.
I work with them. That's great. And like, I think, I think too, like it gets you out of your comfort zone. And so like figuring out who, like I like to learn from people. So if we've been just friends because we went to high school together and we're not learning, we're not hanging out, like why are we friends, you know? So I'm a big fan of that challenge too. Just like, so what does that look like? Like when you go and like talk to people?
Okay, Michelle, have you were just in thought.
Well, I need help here too. We just go up and say hi.
I don't know. I'm really bad at making friends, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that.
No, okay, but it's on our brains. So we'll simmer. Okay. All right. Noe?
I have a really easy time getting along with people. It's more of my challenge is like letting people go. So like how I said that, like if you asked me this a while ago, I would still have like a little dotted line from like, and that would have been my family, specifically like grandparents and uncles. Because I'm not close with them at all, other than like my siblings.
Yeah.
Even then, with my siblings, I'm not as close as like not even my coworkers. I'm closer with my coworkers than I am with my siblings. But it was really hard for me to cut ties with my family. And it wasn't like they weren't trying with me. Neither one of us were trying. We were both trying to develop some sort of relationship. But it just wasn't working. Like we just couldn't get it to work. One of the things that helped me was getting the opinion of others, like friends, and especially itself, because she would see it more than I would, the problems that were happening trying to make a relationship with them. So it helped me open my mind to cutting ties,
Yeah. Yeah.
which helped my emotions a lot.
Yeah.
And it definitely, like, I can tell it's been helping me in the long run
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
But it was very hard for me to let people know that they can tell me, like,
Yeah.
what they think about this a certain situation,
Yeah.
because I would try to solve it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But that is, I guess, one thing I would challenge people is, like, if you are in a situation where you're having trouble deciding whether or not to cut ties or keep them, ask for the opinions of others that see your situation. And the more you ask, the more information you have, and the better of a decision you can make for yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think having the courage to open up. I don't know if I agree with asking the opinions of others, or maybe it's how I'm hearing you say it. Like, I think I would share with others your challenges and see if other people had that experience and what they did. Because if your gut's already saying this isn't a healthy relationship, you know the right answer.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be like, hey, I'm not getting along with this person, friends. What do you think? What do you think? You know, like, I don't think that's the way to go about it. But if it's like, hey, I'm not getting along with this person, I really think I need to cut ties. Have you had that experience?
Yeah.
What did you do?
Yeah, more like that.
You know, and then I think that's fair. But because I think this with the self-worth and I think the other part of, like, just having the courage of knowing, we just have to agree to disagree. Like, there's nothing wrong with you, there's nothing wrong with me, we're just not connecting, we're not a match, we're not on the same value, and that's okay. Like, we can respect each other, we can detach with love, we don't have to cause harm to each other, but we don't have to be friends, you know, or like spend time together, you know, from that perspective. Okay, I like all of these. I feel like all three are things I can take with me. I guess I'll have to revisit, but how do we make them friends?
We should make a whole video on that.
Yeah.
Tutorial.
We might have to, because we did it in the college one, so we might just have to come back and
See, but then
better
that goes back to
specifics.
school. Like, you have something to
good point.
talk about, you know?
Good
Like,
point,
oh, what's
good
your
point.
major?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. I encourage you to take this with you. I encourage you to keep working on it. This is new year, new you. You know, do this every so often. You know, who are you gonna block? Who are you gonna delete? Who are you gonna change? Who are you gonna mute for a minute? Maybe you're just tired of them and you need to process. But yeah. So thank you, and yeah, we'll be back to talk more about friendship, I guess.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed all of our experiences in New Face. And make sure to go to our Discord, like, comment, and subscribe.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm burning up.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna do